attempt to adjust your programming.
Don't do it.
You are now listening to B-Movies and Beyond.
Pew pew. Pew 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 pew. Welcome in, everyone, to B-Movies and Beyond, episode 316. And
It's my favorite number.
316?
Well, favorite combination of numbers.
Let's see. Is that a religious thing?
No, it's a wrestling thing.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Our names aren't showing up on there. Dang it. We'll just slowly get this one out. My Twitter handle is Romero3160, and that's been my email address since I was 12. And
now everyone knows how to reach you.
Yeah, it's Romero3160. I had all the emails. I think I have one for every one of them, even AOL. So it was Romero.
Good.
Yeah, I was consistent, man. That's the thing with me. I was consistent, but I wanted to be Romero316, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, 316. But some asshole had Romero316 when I was 12.
I kind of figured that'd be popular.
Yeah.
So
I added a 0, and that's been my.
You didn't like when Outlook came out? So I knew when Outlook came out, dude, I hopped on that so fast so I can actually get what I want. You didn't do that? You didn't jump on the Outlook bandwagon?
No, I didn't. I just I got used to it.
Yeah. You would have had the one email address that would have been Romero316.
Yeah, and like now it's me. Now I wasn't just me trying to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. Whenever I have my own t-shirt that says Romero 316, I'll put 3160 on there. Be good to go.
Confuse everyone.
They'd be like, "What is that?" Be like, "It's my email."
Yeah,
it's my Twitter handle.
You should just welcome. You should just get a shirt that just has that. You're at and at me at. Put that on there.
Oh, dude, that's not bad, right? Like,
no,
just the at, and then I'm gonna do that. I think we need that for B movies and beyond.
Yeah, and then have is that Venmo too?
Oh, it is my Venmo.
Put it on the back. Venmo me.
Venmo me. Oh, that shirt will pay for itself.
Yes, it will. You can put even like small print so I can buy more shirts or something.
So I could buy more shirts.
Like make more shirts. Yeah.
Oh shit, that's funny.
Ryan, not only is it episode 316, but we're recording this on May the 4th.
May the 4th be with you.
Yes, thank you. Right back at you.
Don't be basic.
Yeah, that's right. Use that 4th and be excellent to one another.
That's Bill and Ted.
Oh, okay. I forgot what they said in Star Wars.
It's this is the way. That's their new this is their new May the 4th force be with you. It's this is the way.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even know. Like, so over the weekend, I mean, I'm just gonna jump right into this since it's Star Wars related, but I finished The Mandalorian season 3 finally. Yeah, dude, that was a really good season, I think.
I like that it was really focused on Mandalore, and like you got an idea what the Mandalorian, who they were, their creed. You got resolution with their home planet, everything. Like it was pretty cool.
Yeah, especially I mean the finales, the last few episodes when it really gets into it, like it wrapping that up, how they finished that season, like it made me believe, like I felt like I was watching a movie.
Yeah,
like how action packed it was. Because at first, we were talking about this last week because we were talking about Dave Fillion, him doing his own like Star Wars movies, right? And I wasn't quite sure. I was like, I don't know if he can pull this off because he did all like the Book of Boba Fett, right?
Yeah, he basically started the Star Wars TV universe.
But didn't he kind of like was really like directing a lot? I thought a lot of the Book of Boba Fett. Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, you are. It was Robert Rodriguez.
Oh,
Yeah, that's why Book of Boba Fett was kind of campy. It was weird.
That makes sense now. That makes sense why there was those weird biker people.
Yeah, the biker gang from Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, like why I brought this up was just because of like after seeing that, like I wasn't quite on board. I was like, I don't know if he's can do it because some of the stuff has been hit or miss. Like even in The Mandalorian, there's been some episodes I'm like, that one was kind of rough. But the way this one finished and it felt so cinematic, I was like, okay, he can do this. He can pull this off.
Have you noticed Disney's TV content is becoming more and more cinematic anyway? Like they're putting good production value into their TV series.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what I think is uh I think they've gotten a lot more money, especially with the Mandalorian, because it's improved, I would say, from what it once was. And then on top of that is like on the Marvel side of it, I think now that they kind of have slowed down a little bit, I think we're gonna get some better quality.
True.
I'm
Very
hoping,
true.
especially after like that whole like all the CGI issues with from Ant-Man to like all the different ones that just came out. Like, dude, there's been some terrible CGI, and I think it's because they're just trying to do too much all at once.
Yep.
Yeah, and so them, I think taking a step back and like, all right, we can even make some quality stuff, not just so much content all at once. Like, I think is going to be beneficial.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, CGI is an art. You can't just have a bunch of people pumping out computer graphics. It is it's an art direction. People do need to take time and like come up with a craft. If you're just pumping it out and like, you're like, get this done, dude, they don't care.
Oh
It's like
yeah,
they're almost like dicks, like Modoc, but he's not a dick.
he's not a dick. Not a dick. Oh, that's another good shirt too. Dang it.
Modoc's face that says not a dick.
Yeah. Can we
I
make
like
that?
we could use your face.
Okay, not a dick. I like it.
Your
I
face in a
like
Modoc
it.
helmet and your beard hanging out of it. I like it.
Yeah.
Not a
Um
dick.
uh yeah, did you do anything special for today?
Oh, I wore a Star Wars shirt.
Mhm.
And
Besides that?
and I wished a couple group chats happy May the 4th. And I pre-recorded the sports show yesterday in anticipation of saying May the 4th before everybody else. So
Wow, you're on top of it, man.
yeah. I had work to do actually. I had to clean a truck because I'm selling it. So
Oh. I
yeah.
work too. That's
Yeah.
how I celebrated. And well, and doing this, this is really where I felt like, all right, this is where I'm gonna like really celebrate the day and talk about some Star Wars, which we already did.
Do you think
But
real quick, do you think May the
oh yeah.
4th is the white person's May the 5th?
You mean Cinco de Mayo?
Yeah.
So you're saying the white people are like, man,
We
that
need
damn
something in May.
yeah, and we'll do it right before. You know what white people like? Star Wars.
Except for Star Wars is full of all my favorite space Mexicans. So do they get 2 days?
Oh, lucky them.
Do they get
Lucky
May the
them.
4th and Cinco de Mayo?
Yeah,
Ah, perfect.
they're
See,
living
I
it
knew
up.
Star Wars was very cultural. Jesus.
They are. They are extremely cultural.
Yeah, no, this was my celebration. We had some friends who are like, "Hey, you want to go to a brewery and drink some drinks for May the 4th?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I'd rather talk Star Wars with Peter with everybody else."
There we go. Man,
Yeah.
we could have. I thought about like, could we get this on the road? But it seemed like too much, man. It's like I said, it's well before off air. It's been a rough week for this household here. A lot of upchucking
A
has been going on,
lot
and
of evil deads.
yeah, a lot of Evil Deads. So I wonder if that's where it came from.
I
Watching
didn't
Evil
get it.
Dead. Then maybe not.
And I saw it
So
twice.
yeah. Nice. Was that the second time you watched it with us?
I'll tell you later in the episode.
All right,
Spoiler alert.
we're spoiler alert. All right, I got a question in Star Wars related.
What? How? Why? I have so many questions!
I'm gonna crack a beer.
Okay.
Oh, that mic adjusted. That was weird.
This is, if you've seen The Mandalorian, I think you'll know what I'm talking about. This is where it came from. How come Jedis, right, or even Siths, right? They can use the Force and they like crush things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't they ever just try to crush someone's lightsaber? Get it out of the way. No more weapon. You're disarmed. I mean, I know you still got the Force, so you can still fight with that. But come on, their main source of how they really fight is through a lightsaber, and they just took that away from the other person. I mean, it's automatic win.
Can you crush light?
No, you crush the device.
Do you think it's made out of some sort of Beskarian metal where it's uncrushable? Is that in some sort of lore? That hasn't been explained. You should be able to. Hasn't someone crushed a lightsaber?
Well, they've been broken before.
They break.
Darth Maul's was cut in half. It's just a crystal.
They could crush the crystal.
Yeah. And why though? I don't know why no Jedi here. Is there like some unwritten rule where they're like, hey, you don't crush yours, I won't crush. I mean, if you don't crush mine, I won't crush yours.
That'd be funny if we rewrote, like, got our CGI and found a scene where, like, Sam Jackson is over there just crushing other Jedi's lightsabers. It's like, no lightsabers. You guys use the Force.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Well, I mean, if you think, dude, that was like one of the things that I really liked about Obi-Wan, the Obi-Wan series, is that there was a lot more Force in that with those fights. That was pretty cool. Like, that was something that we haven't seen that much of, right? Like that to that magnitude, even in the the sequel trilogy, like even then, like there was some, it wasn't like as cool as what they did in Obi-Wan, in my opinion.
Obi-Wan was dope.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like it. I loved it.
Oh, dude, it had the best version of Darth Vader I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was the most terrifying just entity on my television. And I've seen Darth Vader since I was born,
Yeah.
And like every time he's gotten a little bit better and more menacing, but Darth Vader and Obi-Wan was insane. He was a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. And I think even, was there some times where like I felt like there was some times that they threw the lightsaber or something,
they did use a force push to force push a lightsaber out of their hands or away from someone else. Yeah. Why not at that moment? Why didn't they just crush it?
Exactly. I don't know. Maybe there's just some, it's okay to force push it out of your hand, disarm them, but to break their lightsaber, I mean, it was so hard to get, right?
Well, what about the Sith? How come the Sith don't do it?
I guess they got some rules they won't break either.
What is this, John Wick?
I guess. I don't know. I was just, dude, I just started thinking about today. I was like, why don't they do that? This would make things like so much easier on the other person if they could just do that. And then I thought, like, is it too like you kind of what you said, like too strong, maybe it's too small of an object and they can't do it. Like, no, like some of them are really powerful.
Is that a Google search?
I feel like I'm onto something unless there's been some weird thing out there. Like, and I bet you someone else has had to have thought of this and probably put it into some book or comic book related to Star Wars on why. And it probably is some dumb reason where like, it's just an unspoken rule where you can't break each other's lightsabers, right? That is our weapon of choice. It'd be dishonorable. Huh? How about that?
This is a Ready? Something not touched on the outside of the books is that the Force users create a Force bubble around themselves to avoid their saber being taken. Force user combat is much more nuanced than just lightsabers. They're using the Force to keep the saber active and projecting a barrier to stop / lessen the impact of Force abilities used on them. This is why Grievous is able to decimate Jedi with fear. You need to remain concentrated as a Jedi, or you're just another dude with a sword who could jump high.
I
It-
like it. You know, it's funny because I even did think about that. About like, well, maybe they are like, maybe they're using their own Force to keep it from that happening. Which that's what that statement just said. Which that sounded like some made up fan thing, but I'll go with it.
yeah. What was it? The part that said just some dude who can jump high?
Yeah.
Oh, here's my other one. Because the Force isn't that easy to use against a skilled opponent. Oh, now we're getting nerdy.
Yeah. All right.
Why not just choke everyone out? It just
Exactly,
depends on the
dude.
rider.
And then see that there's just so much stuff, but you've seen it where like they Force push people, like they've used the Force on each other before. It's just
Oh, it goes deep.
It's a weird thing.
Yeah, why stop there? Why not crush the head of their opponent, killing them instantly? It's not the Jedi way.
See, dude. There's just a excuse for everything, man. Like, all right, why
The
don't
general
you?
answer is the Force surrounds us and penetrates us, so the Force works basically as a shield around its user. So
But if you
if
lose
you
that,
have, yeah, and maybe that's why when the lightsaber is disarmed, they can do a Force push with the lightsaber because it's not in their aura. But that doesn't answer the question why they just don't crush it while it's out of their hands.
again,
Are you tied to that lightsaber? Weren't
is
some of them kind of tied to their lightsaber?
well. Usually they got like a color that represented them, right?
Just a color, not like a bonding of a weapon, like kind of like the
Right.
dark saber. The dark saber was bonded.
A little bit, like you had to be trained in how to use it, right? Um, but no, I felt it was more like you would go and kind of pick out your crystal, and that was about it. I mean, I guess that you can say that's some type of bond, but now we're getting really nerdy and going down this weird rabbit
Yeah,
hole.
that's the thing with
Um,
Star Wars. You can totally like have your own rabbit hole of the logistics of Star Wars.
yeah,
My,
absolutely.
my last thing about Star Wars Day is, this should be a day of celebration. I hate the people or I dislike the people who use it as a day to say, I'm so and so years old and I still haven't seen Star Wars. We don't care. We just don't care.
This is
Just
for
don't care.
the Star Wars people, guys.
Yeah, it's like tomorrow that's like you're like, hey, I'm almost 40 years old and I'm still not Mexican.
Oh man, dude, I almost like next year, if this day like ever falls on like a Friday coming soon, I want to go like all out, dude. I want us to get like in Star Wars gear. I want like the whole day, where we're like going to stores and leaving saying, or like, when we're saying goodbye to people, like, may the Force be with you, like going
This is the
all
way.
out. Yeah, this is the way, doing some type of Star Wars reference every single time we leave someone. And then like I think we need like some type of parade with Ewoks, and like I want it to be like the end of Return of Jedi, right? That's what I
Yeah.
want. Let's have a
Being-
bonfire and dance around and bang on stormtrooper helmets. Oh, dude, we need to go all out.
Dude, with our future movie theater, that we should just have that happen.
Oh, I like
Could
it.
you imagine Star Wars playing in every theater and bonfires and celebrations and awards and medals and
That's why we need that retractable roof.
this is gonna be the most intense movie theater ever.
We're gonna go broke before we
Indoor
even open.
drive-through.
Yeah. Oh man. Why don't you ask your question too? Because I think I actually I think I make it Star Wars related.
Okay, I like it. So, my question is directly related to our very first trailer we're going to talk about. But which video game would you like to become real life and have a movie made after it?
Oh. Which video game would you like to become real life? Like, you mean like this really happens?
Like you, for example, we've already talked about the teaser of it, but Gran Turismo is the story of a kid who plays Gran Turismo most of his life and gets an opportunity to become a real race car driver.
Yeah.
Based
Gotcha.
off a video game. Yeah.
Well, I guess I skipped over the real life. I just said, what video game do you want to become a movie?
Well, it still
But-
works in terms. Well, how
Yeah.
would you answer that with Star Wars? Because I think I could see it relating.
Well, dude, you gotta admit, some of like my like favorite video games that I have played have been like actually Star Wars, related. Like, dude, all those ones like Star Wars Unleashed, I love those.
Those are great.
This new one I really want to play is the Star Wars Survivor, right? That one looks really cool. And
The Last Survivor, or
I think, is it just called Survivor?
I think so. The one with the kid who's a Joker.
Yeah, Kaiden's been playing. He's been saying he's loving it. So like that's something I was like, dude, I want to see that. And I think, again, I was just thinking about the movie side of it, dude. I think they did such a good job with those video games. I'm thinking mostly Unleashed, that I would love to see that as a movie. I think they could expand upon it. I think they could do a lot with it.
I agree with you because I have been waiting for a Shadows of the Empire movie forever. Because Shadows of the Empire was one of the best video games I played in a long time on N64. And you're right, Star Wars Unleashed is awesome. People love the Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is and the one before it
Jedi
was
Survivor. Yeah,
that's a awesome game, dude. And so you have become a master of your video game and you are imposed in that in real life. That works for Star Wars Jedi Survivor. If you wanted that to be your story, because you have mastered that level, that game, and you get the opportunity to be a real Jedi and take him on. That's another game where freaking Darth Vader is menacing, dude. The first one, that battle
Unleashed?
with Darth Vader. Yeah, dude.
Dude. It was
he's
cool.
Insane.
Yeah. He's always been awesome in the video games, though. I mean,
I just like how he just walks around. Like, he doesn't run. He doesn't do anything else besides just like slowly just jaunt around and choke people.
Dude, he's straight up like a horror villain, dude. He's like Jason or Michael Myers, dude. He only walks and then he just pops out of nowhere and slices you down.
He really is. Halo. For me.
Halo's yours?
Yeah.
Be in Halo? Yeah.
Because I would see that as an opportunity. It'd be very much like you can be in the Halo universe as what are they, USMC or something? And you can live this whole space / Starship Troopers / first person Call of Duty style. I say all these other titles, but they're all really Halo. But you can that would be an awesome movie. I still don't think Halo's been done justice, dude. I think that would be a really freaking cool movie. But the big problem is the video games are so awesome at storytelling. You don't need a movie.
Yeah,
It's
agree.
It's like God of War. Like, I don't want a God of War movie, dude. I would just play the video game for that. But yeah, I'd say Halo, or Ninja Turtles or Sonic. Like, oh, they did that. Sonic is real life. Holy crap!
You're right.
They brought a video game character into the real life world, and it's Sonic.
Yep, they did.
Dang. Answer my own question without even thinking about it.
Nice. All right.
Moving on.
Those are good questions. Yeah, let's move on.
All right.
Here are some exciting coming attractions from
Movies and Beyond.
Trailers. Not as many as last time. And I crossed off I crossed off our notes Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the final trailer. Dude, there's nothing like new about it. It felt like more like the TV spot. So
That's kind of what I wanted to talk about was what's so special about this being a final trailer if there's nothing special about it?
No, there wasn't anything, and I it's just again, it's just trying to make you aware that it's coming. Which I will say, this is the one where I was like, I really officially know the date, which is June 6th, I believe.
I officially know when it is coming out, and it's what day? What day is it?
I believe June 2nd. I was so close. June 2nd.
Who is what website tells me when movies are coming out?
Google.
No, dude, like I think it was Slash Film was like, hey, by the way, this is coming out this and this and this and this. I'm like, oh, cool. That's nice. Anyway, movie trailers. I mentioned it earlier. Gran Turismo. This is one of those trailers for me that actually makes me understand what they're doing with this movie. Because before I was like, dude, how are they gonna make a Gran Turismo movie? Like, it's just gonna be a racing movie. But it tells you the story. It's a kid who is really good at Gran Turismo, and there's a millionaire who puts these kids against professional drivers and gives them an opportunity to play Gran Turismo in real life and become a real race car driver. And now that I know the premise, I would watch this in movie theaters.
Well, I don't know about that, but I felt the same way that I was like, okay, well, now I understand the premise. The first time you told me that, and the first time you told me that, I was like, this sounds ridiculous. And then watching the trailer and actually watching, like, it's like it's legit. Like, and I kind of like the what he has to deal with, right? The kid, the video game kid, like you're trying to go from a video game into the actual real life thing. It's so different. And then his struggles with that, and also how it would be like for a regular race car driver, right? Just like this fucking kid's just showing up and thinks he can just do what we do. We practice, we train for this, and he's just gonna show up because he's really good at a video game. I'd be pissed off, right? Like I like it. Like all those little behind the things, I thought were really interesting. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. I'm still a little bit, I haven't researched this part of it, but the fact that it says it's based on a true story, I'm still like, huh?
Who? What?
Yeah, did someone really play video games, or did someone just play games as a kid and like, I'm gonna become a race car driver, and then actually set out to do that? This is like a race car company sets out, you know what, we need a really good driver. You know where we're gonna find it? Video game players. Like, that's what I got from this trailer.
Wikipedia says it is inspired by the true story of Jan Mardenborough, who is a British professional race driver competing in the Japanese GT series.
Mm-hmm.
He was awarded with a drive for Nissan in Dubai for 24 hours, and it all basically started from him playing Gran Turismo.
So he got rewarded to go and like ride around in one of these cars, and then from there he decided, I want to learn how to do this for real life.
In 2011, he became the third and youngest winner of GT Academy competition, beating 90,000 entrants. And the GT Academy is a televised program run by Nissan and Sony from 2008 to 2016. Provides skills for Gran Turismo players an opportunity to earn a real-life professional racing career. So, wow.
Okay, so they actually did this.
That's
wow.
Number one, that's really cool that Gran Turismo did that. And now this just seems like a big promo for them doing this.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that it worked out, I mean, again, it kind of worked out for one individual. But that's pretty amazing. I can't believe that worked.
Hey, this kid plays video games for a living. Let's throw him into. And they say it in the trailer. You're gonna strap him to a 200-mile-per-hour rocket? Yeah, why not?
Mhm. Yeah, what? I
I,
don't. That's amazing. I'm even now reading that, like I'm or listening. Thank you for reading it, Ryan. I'm even more like interested in what this is. So
my
hmm.
favorite thing about this is Neil Blomkamp is the director.
Yeah, which again I thought that was odd, but everything on the trailer was good. I know like that's probably not really him. Uh but I mean that's his footage, so I think it looks entertaining. Again, I don't know if I'm going to rush out and see it in the movie theater, but I will definitely watch it at home when it's out.
The only reason I would want to see this in the movie theater is for the sound. Um,
Mm,
and mostly it was Batman for me. When I heard that Batmobile start up the first time and rumble the movie theater, I feel like this movie Gran Turismo can really put a nice little rumble.
I hear you. Yeah, you have something there like that sound system, and especially with a race car movie. Like I bet like Ford versus Ferrari would have been amazing.
Oh, it was amazing, dude. I remember that one too. That one, and even the Art of Racing in the Rain, that sad puppy dog movie.
Yeah.
That one was really good in the movie theaters because
Uh,
the sound effect from the rain, the sound from the cars, the sound from people crying over the dog, like
my I think my I mean, besides Fast and Furious movies, like, but my like actual kind of like racing movies where I saw in theaters that I was like, oh man, that was like it felt and sounded so cool. Um, I think I only have Driven, the Sylvester Stallone movie. Do you remember that?
yeah, that's a good one too, though, Peter.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And but again, it's dude that sound and like just like you get into it. Like it really there is something to that having that extra sound. But on top of that, like I just anytime you put competition in there, dude, like I'm all for it. Like that's why I like football, like sports movies in general, really, right? I'm just like so excited, like who's gonna win, and rooting for a team. It's so odd. So same thing with race car driving, either like because I don't watch racing at all.
Dude, I have a good recommendation for you.
All right, save
Yeah,
it.
save
Save
it.
it. So all
Speaking
right.
of PlayStation movies
Mm.
slash, dude, The Last of Us, Gran Turismo, and now Twisted Metal,
And before that,
Charted.
Uncharted. Thank you. I was like Unforgiven, Undisputed. Yeah, Uncharted, which
Laura Croft, maybe? No. Um,
they are making a sequel to that.
I hope it's the same girl. I liked
I
her
think
as
it
Laura
is.
Croft. Good, good.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm pretty sure they're making it a second Tomb Raider.
what do you think about this Twisted Metal series? Little teaser.
Um,
What is this? Death Race 2000? The TV series?
well, yeah, kind of like it's similar premises where you have these vehicles, but they don't really like. Are they racing? You're not really racing. Like,
No,
did
it's
you
like a
play?
battle royale, dude.
Yeah, like so you go onto a course and you got to take out all your opponents, and then each one like that you win, you get to like a next stage to the ultimate prize. Like, at least for the video game, was like getting a wish granted. And so like all these people had like they're kind of like kind of almost dark people. They all have something that they're really after that they'll do anything to get, right?
Isn't that crazy?
Um
Twisted Metal actually had a story. I didn't know it when I was
I
playing the games. Did not know there was a story behind it.
it's pretty simple premise, but I mean I love Twisted Metal. It's been one of those movies where if I wasn't such a cheap person, like I want to like buy like the thing like and I hate how they now I'm just bitching about video games, but I want to just play the original. Yet they make me like because on a PS4 or PS5, you gotta buy the whole bundle, which is like $60. I'm like, fuck that. I just want the original.
Oh, you don't want all the other ones?
I mean, I played a lot of them, but dude, like there's just something about like those first like few, I loved them. I loved them. And what was kind of excited for me was like, all right, what next? What's the new vehicle that comes out? But then usually I just kind of always gravitated back to the the ones from the original ones because they're just so cool.
If you really think about it, Twisted Metal was just an adult Mario Kart
Mhm.
battle royale.
Yeah.
Like that one level where it was just the four corners and you just had to race around and throw shells at each other.
Yeah.
That whole series was based off that level.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude,
I like it. Number one, it's Anthony Mackie,
mhm.
and he drives a tricked out bug-eye Subaru with eBay parts. So I can relate. And well, no, I never had a bug-eye actually. But and then you saw Sweet Tooth.
So I will say I think the first part it felt a little corny, a little cheesy, with
I liked it
Anthony.
though. Do you like that?
I did too, but it kind of like I'm like, "Oh, what kind of show is this?" And then when they showed Sweet Tooth though, I was like, okay, all right, like this is what I was expecting.
Yep.
It's gonna be interesting to kind of how they're gonna explain this universe and like what is like their ultimate goal. Like I assume it's not gonna be a wish, but maybe it could be. I don't know. And it'll be interesting to see like how much is trying to show character development versus a battle royale, right? Because this is a series. And so if they don't have a good balance, I feel like it's not gonna work. Like you have to do enough with these vehicles to keep me wanting to come back for more, right?
Especially being a TV series. Because
Yeah,
we're gonna assume that these are 30 to 40-minute episodes, maybe an hour an episode.
maybe.
So we're gonna, if it's a TV series, we're at least gonna get a minimum of 6 hours of a
Mhm.
full, like what can be done in 2.5 hours or 2 hours kind of thing. Have you noticed movies are shorter lately, by the way?
Depends on what you watch.
Dude, Evil Dead was only an hour and a half.
Evil Dead was supposed to be straight to a streaming service though.
Oh.
And also it is also kind of a horror movies I feel are usually a little bit shorter. I mean that's not the trend. Some of them, they'll you saw it with Terrifier 2, dude. They'll do 2.5 hours.
Mario was in like an hour and a half too.
Yeah, I think what people are realizing, and this goes both ways, is that they're doing what is necessary for the film.
True. Not
Where
putting a lot of fluff in there. I'm
yeah,
I'm having a hard time finding times to go take a piss.
in these hour-and-a-half movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but hopefully, well, I mean, we saw Evil Dead. We all had to take a piss. That's what you get when you're drinking beforehand.
Yeah. I sorry, we were in trailers. My last piece about Twisted Metal was Samoa Joe, professional wrestler, is Sweet Tooth.
Oh, okay. And
So,
guess who he's voiced by?
oh,
Will Arnett.
huh.
That's funny. I'm just because I was trying to figure out how many episodes it was going to be, so I just clicked on this article, and it's coming out July 27th, so that's not too
What's
far away.
crazy to think about is like what PlayStation is putting their money into right now.
Yeah, and this is going to be 10 total episodes. Like, dude, like if this works, and I hope it does, I really truly do. Like, this could be easily an ongoing series where you can change out the main character because of how this thing works. Like, you can change out even a lot of these characters. So like it's a good premise. It's just going to depend on how they execute it. So
Dude, there's some good actors in here. Anthony Mackie, Nev Campbell's in it. Thomas Hayden Church is in here. Wow. All right.
oh, cool.
All right. All right. Next up, what do we have? Dune. Peter, you told me. Just inform the listeners your opinion on Dune.
Well, to this new trailer, I said, "Fuck no." The reasoning for it. This is Dune Part 2, right? I never completed the first Dune. I tried to watch the first Dune. I fell asleep. Had no desire to ever go back to it, and so I have no desire to see the sequel, and so therefore I have no desire to watch this trailer. So have at it, Ryan.
I think the way that you feel about Dune is the way that I took Hunger Games. Never saw it, had no desire, and like the last trailer, I was like, I don't care. I did finish the first Dune. However, dude, Dune is one of those movies you have to chew through. And if you don't watch it in a movie theater and there's no distractions, like, dude, it would take me like 3, 4, maybe 17 tries to finish that movie. I finished it in 4 tries. I fell asleep in the first like 2.5 times. And the trailer didn't tell me anything different, dude. Like, here's the thing, it's a part tour of part 1. So cool. I guess I now need to figure. I don't know. I'm not gonna go back and watch the first one.
Let me ask you this: I mean, I was watching that, like, besides like the incredibly like scenery, set pieces and everything, the cast, like the actual story, I was just, I don't know, I was just bored. And then like they're like, did I fall asleep through the action? Did I miss it? Like, is there actually good action? Like I occasionally I would kind of come to and see something like, oh, looks like there's some action, but like it again, it wasn't enough to like, keep me invested. I went right back to sleep. Like you've seen it 34 times, but I mean, do you actually, when you finished it, were like, man, I'm glad I finished that. Man, there were some really great scenes in there. Like, did you come away from that like after you finished it saying those things, or you're just like, huh?
It was more of a, huh? Okay, I saw Dune. It's kind of like reading the book. Have you ever read the book?
No, have you?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, you finished it?
No.
You can't say that I've read the book if you haven't finished it. You just said I started it.
I'm in process of reading the book.
Do you really still plan on finishing it?
Just like the movie, no. No.
I was like, I read a page. I'm in the process of reading it.
I'm getting through it.
Yeah.
Peter, we got a lot of news to talk about.
All right,
let's do it.
Let's switch it.
All right, all this news is mine, so I'll chew through this with you, buddy. I kind of went down the list of like Guardians of the Galaxy since it comes out this week. First question is Guardians of the Galaxy family friendly? It's funny that this is even a question. Of course it is. It's a Disney movie.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's PG-13. Like, you know what you're going to get into with a PG-13. So even if they do,
because it's sad.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard there's some sad elements, but I'm not sure. But I mean, people or critics are saying this is like the best one of the trilogy. So,
I hope so, because if critics are giving this high praise, this helps Disney and Marvel move up to the next level that they need to. Instead of making movies for everyone, they make more mature movies.
Well, I mean, dude, like between Infinity War and Endgame, what do you call that? Are those family friendly?
Enough, yeah.
Then I think that's what you're gonna get with this, because I look at those movies and I'm like, they were like, I didn't feel like they were meant for kids. I mean, like there was some really dark material through that, especially in elements of Endgame. And sure, it ends nice enough. But the fact that it's like it's fantasy, you get away with a lot of shit.
Yeah, that's what they're saying about this, like the grim reality and like an ending. Dude, all good things come to an end, I mean, and sometimes the end is not pretty. And for these characters, that was kind of the goal, dude. And I mean, if you think about the Guardians, they're all individuals who have had troubled past. Like this group of them coming together is like the best thing that's happened in their lives. So if we learn a little backstory in episode 2, we learned about Star-Lord and his dad. Like that was pretty sad story, dude.
Yeah.
And even the first one, his mom dying of cancer. Like this is not a happy-go-lucky series.
No, I mean there is a lot of comedy involved with it, but yeah, there is a lot of sadness. That's just life, though, dude. And okay, if we really want to talk about like, think about that with Disney, dude. Disney is almost king of that. Think about the Lion King. Think about
The Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid, Bambi, dude. So many of these kid-friendly, G-rated movies almost start with death, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 100%. I didn't know Nathan Fillion was in here. Did you know that?
dude, he's in all of them. He's a friend of James.
No, he wasn't in Guardians 1 and 2, was he?
Mm-hmm.
Who was he in them?
Like I mean, they're like cameo pieces, but he's in them. Like he's one of the aliens in the prison scene in the first one, and then in the second one, oh, he might have been cut from the second one, to be honest. But he did film something for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my piece of news. Is he wasn't a fan of the comics.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, before filming this,
He's
which
only a fan of Uncharted.
and yeah, he should be Uncharted. Or what else was he in? James Gunn, other thing, the guy with the plastic arms.
Yeah, he was. What is that guy's name? Well, he was in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
That guy was hilarious. Slither. If you're not watched James Gunn's Slither, you need to watch.
He is a frequent collaborator, isn't he?
Yeah, they're pals. Which, dude, if James Gunn could get a hold of Uncharted and Nathan Fillion, dude, I think that movie would be awesome. Like
That'd be a great movie, actually.
Yeah, so much more better than what we just saw. And I just saw, since we're in news, I saw some little things, talking about like a sequel, and Mark Wahlberg's like, I don't do sequels. So we might not get an Uncharted sequel, which I'm fine with. Reboot it already.
Wait a minute. Was it Mark Wahlberg in Transformers?
Oh yeah, I did a sequel. He's a liar.
He is a liar.
Unless he took that from that because he's like, man, that left a really bad taste in my mouth. I'm not doing sequels anymore. Oh, but he's also done Daddy's Home too, and Ted. This guy's a fucking liar.
Yeah, he's a mad liar.
Damn it.
Oh, Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't know that there's a writer's strike looming ahead. Have you heard about this?
I briefly, I don't know the details.
Are we gonna get shitty movies for the next 5 years?
Potentially,
but and are they gonna be 3D?
So the the writer's strike, right? That's like the Writers Guild of America. Is that right?
Yeah. This piece of news is saying it may affect James Gunn's Superman legacy.
But doesn't James Gunn write these? Like, I mean, he's also, well, he's usually the writer and director. Like, if he's like a solo person, like, does it really still affect him? Like, that's the thing. I don't understand how that part works. Like I understand, like, you know, this is kind of like they're unionized, right? And they want fair wages and all, fair rights and all that. You know, they're doing some, you know, potentially hard work that they have to keep on doing over and over and rewriting and you know, trying to get just fine-tuned to exactly what the studio or what that director wants. You know, I get, but like if you're a writer slash director, I'm like, I just feel like you're in a whole nother boat.
Yeah, you're writing your own movie that you're directing and casting.
Yeah, I hope. My hope is I hope they learn what they, you know, what happened. Oh, dude, when was that writer strike before?
I was just gonna say it was during our last recession, so we're coming up against another recession and a writer strike all over again.
Maybe that's what triggers it.
We are going to be getting 3D movies again, Peter.
Oh, jeez.
You know what it starts with? Fucking Avatar.
Well, we already got that. So it's history's repeating itself. Dude, but that was rough, right?
It was rough,
dude. Like no like new TV stuff or really shitty new TV stuff. Like, dude, those were some rough times for content.
Dude, it's gonna be bad with all the streaming services trying to get the exclusive content, man. That's gonna be tough. Well, I hope there's not a writer's strike, but they said it can be as early as 2024 and go into 2025. Lame.
Yeah.
Good news though, Beetlejuice is getting a sequel, and Danny Elfman is teasing his return.
This is official?
This is official, dude. They're talking about casting what's her name? The Scream girl, Wednesday girl. Winona Ryder, Michael Keaton, and Jenna Ortega is reportedly set to play the daughter of Winona Ryder's character Lydia Dietz.
Oh, okay.
But
I see.
But they said they have no problem making Michael Keaton look like Beetlejuice because in the first one he already looks like he's 150 years old.
It's true. It's true.
And yeah, this is official.
Wow, because we talked about this. Like they were talking about this, I think when I don't know, like Michael Keaton kind of had his reconnaissance, right? He started coming back and being huge with like Birdman. Like we were talking about this, and then it kind of just fell flat. So the fact that it's back up and going is exciting news.
I can always love more Michael Keaton. I mean, we're gonna get our first major taste of him in The Flash as Batman. I'm a liar. I'm sorry. He was in Spider-Man, and he's been in a lot of other good movies. So,
but, you know, seeing him as Batman's gonna be really freaking cool.
Tim Burton's getting the crew together for Beetlejuice 2.
Nice.
Next up, some semi-good news. Jamie News breaks silence in the hospitalization. He's still hospitalized. Did you know that?
Jamie who?
Jamie Foxx.
I think you said Jamie News.
Jamie News. Jamie breaks news. Jamie Foxx. Foxy Jamie. He must have had a pretty bad stroke, dude.
It was a stroke?
It was a stroke. He had a stroke.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So who knows if he'll come back to acting.
Dude, that's nuts.
I don't know if we'll ever get this Spawn movie.
Yeah, that's bad news. I mean, depending on how bad this was, you know, and how it affected him, right? It can those strokes can really affect people. Like you have to relearn things, or you can lose control of other, you know, your limbs or whatever.
Yeah, like a lot of times people lose functionality of their face.
Wow, dude, that is nuts. I had no idea.
I
hope he is okay.
Me too. Prayers up for Jamie Foxx.
I
need a Spawn movie. This is quick just because it's DC, but Jim Lee, the artist / writer / inker, illustrator, is now the president of DC Comics. So hopefully he can work hand in hand with James Gunn on some DC content. This one's boring, but I think it's relevant. Kevin Costner is confirmed to leave Yellowstone after this season, due to conflict, he don't want to work in Montana anymore, and he's getting a divorce. So, dude, he's Kevin Costner. Like Kevin Costner could do whatever Kevin Costner wants.
I feel like once you get a divorce, I feel like he would like, oh, I'm free and do whatever I want. Like he would work more, maybe move to Montana, but I thought he likes the open range. I thought that was like his thing.
I thought so too. I think he just doesn't want to work, or maybe he doesn't like where the series is going.
Maybe.
But anyway,
well, it's too bad. I felt like, I mean, I haven't really seen the movie or show. I've seen like 10 minutes, but I felt like he was, he's kind of like the heart and soul of it. So
he really is, dude. I feel like Yellowstone's kind of at that point right now where it can get really good or really bad. Kind of like The Walking Dead. So this is news.
Exciting news.
It's all news. But just today, about 6:55 p.m. Eastern Time by Danielle Ryan on /film.com, the boys Karl Urban is in final talks to be Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat 2.
That is awesome.
That is awesome.
So I was reading that right before you told me, and I was like, oh, that is really exciting news. And I hope, dude, that is some good casting, and I think that will be a lot of fun to see. And I really like that new Mortal Kombat movie, besides the whole like getting these, you gotta unlock your weapon deal.
Yeah. The Kana, I think it was.
Yeah, like that was weird. I hope they kind of like maybe kind of go back on that in the sequel. Maybe
it just shouldn't be emphasized. Like the people should just have their powers.
Yeah, you're right. Like if it just kind of just came out of nowhere, I'd be okay. Which hopefully, we kind of like, right, we had to like set it up and have our character. Now you get to go and have the second one where you just get to bring in all these characters and get wild and crazy with it, right? So
Yep.
So maybe it will, like that won't be a big thing, and maybe just everyone already has their Kana or whatever.
I'm down with that. Like even like someone new like Johnny Cage, where he gets his power, he's like, "Well, what happened?" And they're like, "Dude, you got Kana." Like, okay, move on.
Yeah, yeah. So
I feel like Karl Urban, Johnny Cage would understand that perfectly fine.
Exactly.
Do you think Karl Urban was the best choice for that, or do you think Anthony Starr would have been better?
Dude, Karl Urban, man, I just love that guy.
I think Anthony Starr would have been better.
I love
Karl Urban too, dude, and he was great in all the Thor movies. He was great as Judge Dredd. He could be serious, he could be funny, he could be serious funny. He says cunt a lot. But I think Anthony Starr can
Okay, are they gonna give Karl Urban like blonde hair? Like that's where I'm like, let's dial that back.
Now that I think about it, Anthony Starr is good at being a villain. Johnny Cage is not a villain.
Yeah, I think he can encapsulate the persona of Johnny Cage very well. I think he can be that like action star and play that Hollywood dude very well. So like, that's why I think it's really good casting right there. And the fact that it's just Karl Urban, like, dude, the guy, I don't know, like everything he does, I'm just like, oh, dude, he's so good. He's so good. So
Peter, that's our news, buddy.
We did it.
We did it. Woo. Now it's time for the meat.
Some Evil Dead.
Yeah. Review. One big happy review.
That's true.
I don't know if it's happy.
Yeah, I'm interested to see your thoughts. Like, we really didn't. So this is like the first time this year that I actually went to a movie theater and saw a movie. And
that's right. What was the last one you saw?
I think it must have been Spider-Man. No Way Home.
Yeah, because you were like, dude, you were talking about. I was like, dude, Spider-Man came out last year. And you're like, what? I said, yeah, Spider-Man came out last year.
Was it 2022?
Yeah.
Okay, then that was the last one I saw. Yeah.
5 months in, Peter. 5 months in.
5 months in. Yeah. And I gotta say, well, okay. So the first time back to the theaters, it was just good to see everyone, by the way. Like that was nice. It was Ryan and I, Nikki and Nate, all previous guests on the show. Had some drinks beforehand and then went and saw Evil Dead Rise.
It was good just to do that, just to see a good old movie. Sit down in a theater with a ton of other teenagers sneaking in seats, sitting on laps, asking you for chargers. My seat didn't work. It was good experience.
Oh man. Yeah, that was pretty damn funny. Just like, oh, here's the thing. These movie theaters, they all pretty much have assigned seating now. Like you cannot, unless you're like assholes like me, where it's like, no, I got the right tickets. You move. Like you really can't get away with it. Like we show up, we have four. I bought 4 tickets. We're all sitting next to each other, and like there's like these random kids. They're like right next to us, and they're taking one of our seats. Instantly, they know, and so they get up and move. And then Ryan and Nate are fumbling around because their recliners don't work. So they kind of like, let's go see if this thing's plugged in. They flip over the chairs, which then the teenagers then see, oh shit, there's a plug back there. Like, can you plug in my phone?
The audacity of like, here, we know we're not supposed to be here. Peter, I'm not kidding. One of them was just laying on the other one's lap. Like,
yeah, the one that
and
was in your seat, just oh, I'm just gonna sit with this other person.
the whole movie, I was like, all right, whatever. And I told him, I was like, I won't tell if you don't tell. Like, shut up. Just be alone. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm in control of your phone now. I am the captain. But yeah, stuff like that used to bug me, Peter. But to be honest with you, I just go to movie theaters and mind my own business, and I have a good time with it.
Yeah. I mean,
did you have fun? Yeah,
I did. I enjoyed the movie. I had a good time. I thought it was a fun time out. Right. I wasn't disappointed. Right. Like even some of these movies I've been disappointed at home.
right.
I can only imagine how I'd feel in the movie theater. Right. So I did not feel that way with this movie, even though I do have some criticism and I wish some things upon it, but generally speaking, I did thoroughly enjoy it.
What I liked about this movie was, listen, every time Evil Dead is made, like the first person that pops up is Ash or Bruce Campbell or Chainsaw or Shotgun or the Necronomicon.
Mm-hmm.
What I gathered from this, and knowing what Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell's goal is they're trying to create this So my understanding, there's 3 books now.
I mean, there's 3 different versions of it.
Right. So that's why, like, number one, when you see this Necronomicon, it doesn't look like the one that you're used to with the eyeball and the mouth and the face and whatnot. So that tells me that might be in another story that we might be getting soon. But I like how they're expanding this universe through different stories. So we're not getting the same rinse and repeat. We're getting elements of Bruce Campbell's Evil Dead, or the 2013 remake, or the Evil Dead 2 remake. We're getting elements, but we're not getting the same story.
Yeah.
And I do like that.
Yeah. How this one, taking it into the city, into an apartment complex, I thought was really cool.
Mm-hmm. And how they shut it down too, by the way.
Yes.
Because like any apartment complex, you should be able to get out, right?
Yeah, how they kind of like how they isolate it. So like, all right, and they did like a good job. Like that's a a good job, typical like horror movie where like, all right, you got to take away like their sources of escape, right?
And even okay, let me add to that. Even the backstory of the apartment complex. Did you catch that?
How was it was set to be demolished?
Yeah, so there's not many residents in this apartment complex
Mhm.
anymore.
So I it's good and bad. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more. Like when I first heard about this, I was kind of expecting like a little bit more like traveling through various levels. Like, dude, could you imagine an Evil Dead movie that's like Raid Redemption or Dread? Dude, where they gotta just keep on going up the levels and you get to different Evil Dead shit. Like, how cool would that be?
That would
Like,
have been epic. I
yes.
agree with you.
So, and this is kind of like the parts where like I feel like this movie kind of maybe fell flat for me, in a sense, is because I wanted a lot more. And I'm not saying this movie didn't deliver, though. It's just like that. For instance, that was one of the things like I was like just like, oh, dude, if this is what that movie is, it's going to be amazing. And then the other thing and also I think this is kind of it made it more interesting and more character driven is like really those other people they had like in on that floor dude, they get wiped out fast.
They were worthless.
Yeah, like there was almost like there's little point to having them, but like it was nice to have some extra casualties, right? Like
Dude, they had the two kids show up and they did nothing. They did absolutely nothing to add to the story besides trying to watch Nightmare on Elm Street. And then the rest of the movie, you said they got wiped out quick. They had
Mhm.
no like battle. Like it was just, here you go, you're dead. Okay, bye.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, dude. If you ran into like a demon like that, what would you do? Like, you're not prepared for that shit. So,
True.
speaking of that, like, okay, I think everyone knows this all centers around this family, the mom and her 3 kids, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And then the mom's sister, the aunt, comes in, looking for like assistance. Let's just say that some moral support. How about that? And the mom is the one that gets the evil dead in her. And I thought she did a terrific job. Dude, she was creepy. Her facial expressions and just the things she was saying, I thought she knocked it out of the park and hit everything that I wanted with like when you think of like an Evil Dead demon. I thought she delivered on that.
She was able to encompass others paranormal slash spiritual. Like, dude, she like the bathtub scene. We've seen this in the trailer, so I can talk about it. But
Mhm.
where they lifted her up and she was on the ceiling, that's very The Shining slash Exorcist ish, and she pulled that off really well. Her in the hallway talking to the baby daughter, and utilizing the family's trauma and their problems as an Evil Dead, dude. She did that really really well.
Yeah. Oh, dude, when she the scene like right after she goes in the kitchen to like uh, make eggs, basically, like
Yeah,
that was a great. Oh, geez, here's a cat. Surprise!
surprise.
If you're not on YouTube, you missed it. That scene I thought was incredibly well shot and creepy as well. That transition. Uh, yeah, that was she just did such a great job with that, and I guess just the movie did such a good job with her and making her creepy as fuck.
The daughter, I like the daughter. She was
Oh
they made me hate her because she was, you know, what's the term? Woke, I guess you want to say.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, which middle?
the one with the short hair.
Okay, I think she was the middle.
Yeah, the middle daughter. And then when she has the Evil Dead in her, oh, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Before the podcast, you told me about your horrific week, and the first thing I thought about was the mom when she just vomits all over the entire apartment. I feel like that's what happened. And then the middle daughter did that with bugs.
Yeah.
And dude, they were gnarly creepy, dude, and there was no stopping them whatsoever. There was so many attempts to kill them, and the way that they would do it was just gruesome, but it was like they're not done. And this is not going to be done. And I think the only weak point besides the hallway characters was Danny, the son. I think maybe it was because
was
they
it
wanted.
Really a girl though?
Was he a girl?
I thought so.
I think it was a boy.
I think it was like a transition. Like,
did they throw that in this movie?
Dude, if that was just, I don't know. That's the vibe that I was getting, because each of them were very, unique and very
progressive.
I don't know. Yeah, progressive. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I mean, it's Danny. It's a boy. So
Peter, you're right. Morgan Davies, born 2001, is an Australian film and television actor. He started his career as a child actor. Davies publicly came out as transgender in 2020.
So she going to he?
He went to
he going to she?
She went to he.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense. That's
because
what I thought.
Now their pronouns are he and him. Okay. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Anyway, okay, all three daughters. The youngest one, dude, I felt bad for her as an actress. The stuff that they had to put her.
Yeah,
they had to put her through some trauma. But dude,
Yeah.
she as an actress and her character as like the youngest one, she handled it like a champ, dude. All the way into the end of it, man. I was like, this little girl, she needs to be with this series so she can grow in to know how to kill future ones.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so you bringing that up and kind of like giving the idea of keeping it related, right? Actually have like legit sequel. And I like to think about with all these Evil Dead movies is that they're all sequels in my opinion. I don't think they're ever reboots or anything. Even the was it the 2013 one? Is I love that one. And I think that's just a continuation of the Evil Dead, right? I just think it's just another time period, another era, and new people come and it possesses new people and they got to fight the Evil Dead. Same thing right here with we're in a new area. Who knows if there's multiple books, if it's the same book and they just took some liberties on what it looks like. I don't know. I kind of like your idea that, hey, there are multiple Evil Dead books out there, Necronomicons, and they're just, once they're found, then crazy shit starts happening. Like, I like that too. But I look at them all as continuations, and what I wanted, I think all of us wanted, was a little bit of crossover. Like, we wanted to see Bruce Campbell. Like, it would have been great to see him in some kind of cameo role. What I wanted on top of that was the girl from the 2013 one, who is, I think, is Ash in that, who, she gets her chainsaw hand. Like, I wanted her to pop up and so badly to help fight. And that was the kind of stuff that, again, it was just, I think it's just being a fan, right? Fan of the series, that you wanted to see that crossover. And that was a little disappointing that we didn't get that. I didn't even get a groovy at the end with Bruce Campbell, you know?
If they're doing what I hope they're doing, is this is Rise, so this is kind of a beginning of a new story. We know the Evil Dead has happened in other areas, so maybe the Necronomicon that we know and love is part of, let's say, chapter 3 or whatever. But they already set this up where this is going to happen in the woods. It's in the first scene. So it's in the first scene, and then you're like, whoa, what happened a day before, blah blah blah, and then the movie explains it, and you're like, okay, cool. So now next progressional step, maybe this girl is like, the aunt is hell-bent on killing this evil dead, and she figures out where this cabin is, and then we can see cameos from characters from the past, and ultimately lead up to amalgamation of all these Evil Dead type of heroic characters led by Bruce Campbell to kill the actual Evil Dead.
Yeah. I mean, that would be cool. Okay. So then do you want to do more standalone movies kind of like this, where it just does its own thing? No, besides like the Necronomicon and having Evil Dead demons come around, do you want to have more of those? Which also, I think just for the Evil Dead franchise, it totally works, right? Like it's totally fine if you just keep on doing that. Or, like you said, like you do that for so long, and then you go and have this big, massive crossover event. That would also be fun as well. Like, I think it's just more of a fan thing. And I think the more I think about it, I'm kind of glad that they kept it the way they wanted. But what I think it lacked was that big, epic, heroic moment where your protagonist takes that leap forward, like, that's it, I've had enough, I'm fucking going all out and I'm taking this thing out. Like we kind of had that, but it wasn't as epic as Bruce Campbell and his Evil Deads, and that girl from the 2013 one. It wasn't as epic as that, which again, I think that might have been because of it. This is a lot lower budget, designed to be streaming, which they're like, this is actually too good to go there. Let's put this out in the theaters first, which it actually it did decent. Did it make its money back? It might have.
I think it has. I mean, I'm reading that it was actually a commercial and a blockbuster success already. So,
Good.
what you keep on mentioning is it was meant for streaming, and the fact they moved this to a theatrical release means it was damn good enough, because this could have gone either way, and this going to streaming, this could have been a series on streaming platforms.
Yeah, which would have, got me to get whatever that was streaming on.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. There is no big aha, fuck you, I'm gonna take over and control the situation kind of thing. Um, however,
It's not as epic as
yeah,
as
the
the other
final scene
one.
was good. It wasn't great. It was good. I liked it, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Like again, the whole movie was good. It's Oh yeah, dude. This movie was made on 12 million estimated, and it's worldwide. It's like at 91 million right now. So
We're getting a universe, dude. I can already
dude,
feel it.
people want more of this, and I'm good with it. I put the Evil Dead in more weird situations, like in areas. Let's go to some weird town, like let's go to a farmland, like have some fun with it. So
I think it's unanimous, right? We enjoyed this.
we enjoyed it. My last thing I want to bring up on this was, dude, how they brought up the title of this movie I thought was amazing. That was such a great way, and it brought me into the movie and just the overall feel. Like,
Oh, in the actual movie, yeah.
yeah, dude, when it's called Evil Dead Rise, and you see in the trailer there's a chick floating above water. You see her rise out of the water, and then big red letters behind this gorgeous scenery, Evil Dead Rise comes up behind it. That was such a epic title sequence right there.
I
So
think this movie was an A+ all the way around. There's some areas where it could have did a little bit better. I was nudging Nate, and then when I saw it again, Jeremy, I was nudging every time they had a reference to the chainsaw and the shotgun. I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, there it is, there it is, there it is.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell is in it. He's a voice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's so when they're playing the old vinyl, he's one of the people in the crowd as the priest is talking about it, and he's like, just kill it, just kill it. That's Bruce Campbell.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so but that's your Bruce Campbell little tidbit. But they got to do something before he gets a little too old. How old is he? How old is that man?
Well, after he did Ash versus Evil Dead, that series, he I think he kind of said, "No, I'm done with this." He hung up the chainsaw.
Which yeah, they did make this series.
Dude, and the series was really fun. And it sucks because of what happened after the third, from at the end of the third one. Like, dude, it was such like kind of a cliffhanger, and like you're like, what the fuck? Like, the series went into some really strange areas that I personally really liked. Like, again, it just shows the what the Evil Dead can really do. Like, and it's pretty crazy. So if you have not seen that series, I highly recommend it. Just be warned that it does just kind of end abruptly after the third season. Yeah, it's really cool. The director of this, I do want to do a shout out. That's Lee Corrin, I believe is how you say it. I believe he's Irish, yeah, from Dublin, Ireland. I love this guy's work. I feel like I've reviewed this before on our podcast. The Hole in the Ground. If you haven't seen that, it's an Irish film. It is amazing.
Really?
So, yeah.
I looked up his IMDb, and I never heard of that movie, but if you're saying that's amazing,
Yeah,
I trust you, Peter.
Is really good. It's a good different horror movie. So highly recommend it. So, all right.
Speaking of recommendations,
Yep.
Yes! Yes! Oh! 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 Oh, God. Oh.
I'll have what she's having.
That's right.
Peter,
yeah.
for this week's recommendation, I want you and I to give our Star Wars recommendation and another recommendation.
Okay.
Go.
Well, I mean, I recommended a few things already this episode, and
Recap us, buddy.
yeah, I'll do them again. Well, first off, The Hole in the Ground. Totally check that out. I believe where I saw it was on Netflix, but I don't know if it's still there. And then Ash versus Evil Dead, which I think that is on Netflix currently. So
yes,
that series. Is Hole in the Ground on Netflix? Did you confirm that or no?
No, I didn't. But
okay. You
right
just
now.
said yes. All right. No, it's fine. And then, well, I guess you can look that up.
On Hulu.
Oh, it's on Hulu. Okay, maybe that's where I watched it. My recommendation, for Star Wars, anything.
Perfect.
No, I meant like question mark.
Yeah, anything Star Wars related. May the Force be with you. This is the way. Whatever you want to say. You can recommend the Ewoks Christmas special if you want.
Oh man, yeah, that's pretty epic.
Video game, comic books, crushing
Dude,
lightsabers.
it is well if they did that. um, I'm gonna go with I I'm gonna go with Return of the Jedi.
Ah, Jedi, huh?
Yeah, dude, because that was as a kid growing up, like that was my favorite because it was the conclusion, right?
Mhm.
You got the epic finale, right? Good versus evil. Um, like the great battle on was it Indoor, right? Like, dude, like I just love that one, and probably it's just because of the conclusion. Spoiler alert: good triumphs over evil.
What?
I know. And so I'm gonna have to go with that one because, and I know a lot of people don't like it, and I like now, like as like an adult, I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's the best one, but as a kid, that was by far my favorite one. I watched that movie over and over and over again. Uh, I mean, dude, you have you're saving Han Solo in the very beginning, dude. You got Slave Leia. Like, dude, there's so many fantastic parts in that one, and they probably should have just left it there.
Okay.
So there you go.
I'm gonna start with my Star Wars recommendation because it is a quite opposite of yours. I'm gonna go with Empire Strikes Back.
Well, yeah.
Evil takes over good. Han Solo is frozen in carbonite.
Mm-hmm.
They're captured. Like Luke loses his hand. He realizes that his dad is spoiler alert, Darth Vader. And it was like one of those movies in a series where you're like, shit. Like
Yeah.
not all good is happening, you know? I love the characters they introduced in there, all the bounty hunters, Lando, Calrissian. He even turns
Mm-hmm.
on them, you know? Like I just love how like all of your heroes just got shat on in Empire Strikes Back, and it was because of mostly his production. You didn't know if Harrison Ford was coming back. They had to do a bunch of rewrites for Luke Skywalker because he was in that car accident. So like
Uh-huh.
the series could have turned completely different had Han Solo not come back and been written out before Jedi, or if Mark Hamill would have been terribly injured, you know, that we could have just gotten 1 and 2 and that's it.
Yeah.
And during that time, I wish I was alive for that. Or yeah, 84. I wasn't alive. I wish I was alive for that because and able to think about it, you know, that would have been like one of the most cliffhanger movies for me in my entire life.
Dude, if
Um,
somehow that didn't get made, if they didn't finish that, like, wow.
we wouldn't have May the 4th. We wouldn't have any of this.
Probably not. No.
Yeah,
No.
crazy to think about. So,
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back was basically the Empire taking over not only in the movie but actual production as well.
Nice. I
Uh,
like.
and then my other one is called Bloody Muscle Bodybuilder in Hell. It is a Japanese remake of The Evil Dead. Um, kind of like Evil Dead Rise. Like it's not exactly the story, but it's like a very similar story. It's Japanese, and the reason I saw it is because when you go to Alamo Draft House, they play awesome, funny trailers before the movie you're watching, and they were showing clips of this, and I was like, I need to watch this. So,
Oh, that's great.
um, yeah, dude, that's the fun. That's the fun of Alamo is you don't get typical. You get your typical trailers, but you get little fun tidbits before the movie on
Like as you're waiting,
Yep.
like okay, that's cool.
Like Mario was incredible. They played old school Mario commercials from the early
Oh,
90s and for
nice.
toys and video games and the TV show and stuff like that. So if you go watch Evil Dead, you get a little clip of Bloody Muscle Bodybuilder in Hell 1995 Japanese movie. So back in the mid 90s, Japanese movies were still very terrible, but they were introducing people into gore, and this is one of those early movies of that. So yeah, that and
Nice.
Empire.
Nice. I like it. Well, Ryan, as always, it's been a pleasure. It's been
As
fun.
always, Peter, it's always been a pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for listening. We will be back next week with another exciting episode. 317.
317, maybe Guardians of the Galaxy if we find time to go watch it.
Ryan will probably will.
I'll probably go watch it.
Yeah.
I'm caught up on all the movies in the theater.
There you go. I got some catching up on some old movies. So maybe I'll talk about
you gotta
those.
watch Renfield.
I will try to.
Oh.